Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston Station, we are ready for the event.
WFSB-TV, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Tyler Hughes with WFSB-TV. How do you hear me?
Hi, Tyler. This is NASA astronaut Jack Hathaway with my colleague, NASA astronaut Jessica Meir, and we've got you loud and clear.
Well, thank you guys so much. And, thank you for taking some of your precious time out of your day to speak with us here in Connecticut. We really appreciate it. And, of course, I want to start by wishing you both also a happy Earth Day. Here on Earth, we're celebrating, but I want to know how you're celebrating up in space and how being in space has sort of changed your perspective of things on this Earth Day, and if you have an Earth Day message to Connecticut and the rest of the world.
Well, first of all, I believe that every day should be considered Earth Day because, especially being up here with a view that we are so fortunate to have, it really gives you this profound and deep understanding and appreciation for our home planet. When you look around in this vast void and blackness of space and you see this precious blue gem below you, it is so beautiful, so gorgeous with all of its colors and textures, and you see this thin, tenuous band of an atmosphere that is all that is promoting life on this planet. You realize how gorgeous it is, of course, but how utterly fragile it is as well. And for me, I was an avid environmentalist before my first space mission, but I think a lot of people, even if that wasn't an important part of your life before that, when all astronauts come up here, they really do have this change, this shift in perspective to that full-on appreciation for how unique and special and fragile our planet is and how we truly do need to protect it. And even for me as an environmentalist, that resonated even more loudly when I first saw the Earth from space and stayed here in low Earth orbit, circling around it every 90 minutes. So I think, to me, that is the main message to Mother Earth. She is absolutely gorgeous, undeniably beautiful, but utterly fragile, and we need to treat her as well as she has treated us.
All right, and thank you both very much. Just out of curiosity, do you guys know where you are at the moment above Earth?
I think right now we're heading southeast over the Pacific Ocean. But one of the great things about being up here is that every 90 minutes we do an orbit and we get to see a new piece of the Earth below us. And like Jessica was saying, it changes constantly. And it's just such a wonderful view out the window every time, no matter what you're looking at.
And every 90 minutes, that means you guys see a sunrise and a sunset every 90 minutes. Is that right?
That's right. About every 90 minutes, or every 45 minutes or so, we see a sunrise or a sunset. There's not windows in every module, but we can go and check it out, and it's really, really spectacular to be able to watch, to see the Earth during daylight, and to see all the mountains and the terrain and the oceans and all the just natural beauty that's out there. Sometimes it's actually hard to see cities, and at night, the glow of the cities as they come up it's a really incredible view, and it's a wonderful opportunity any time of day. You might get a night pass, you might get a day pass as you float over to the window.
And one of the reasons we're so lucky to have both of you with us today, not just are you astronauts in space right now, but both of you are actually New England natives, if I get that right. Jessica, you're from Caribou, Maine. Jack, you're from right here in Connecticut, from South Windsor. And so I was wondering if you could talk just a little bit about your roots here in New England and then how that led you to becoming an astronaut.
Absolutely. I grew up in Caribou, as you mentioned, a very small town, actually the northeasternmost town in the United States. So I would say that's really the real New England. Jack and I have a pretty playful banter about what comprises New England, but we don't need to get in that now. Lots of love for Connecticut today, of course. I grew up in Caribou, that small town, and both of my parents were from other countries. So I I think that one of the things for me, I had this passion for the world around me. I was really interested. I had this curiosity, and I think that led to me wanting to pursue a career in science, especially in the biological sciences. And I think that was fueled by my mother. She's Swedish, and she has this real appreciation for nature. Growing up in a small town in northern Maine with lots of trees, I think I just had that innate curiosity about the plants and animals around me. Neither of my parents knew anybody that worked for NASA. We were, as I said, they were from other countries, and we were not connected to really any NASA roots, but something sparked that curiosity in me, and I started saying I wanted to be an astronaut from the time that I was 5 years old. So I think just the community that I was in really fostered that. My parents, the school system really kind of fostered that dream, and I never really said anything else since then.
Yeah, go South Winter Bobcats. I'm excited to be from the state of Connecticut, which is definitely part of New England. And home is special, no matter where it is, whatever part of the country, whatever part of the world that you come from. Going home is special, and being able to talk to people back home is special, and it's awesome. I'd had the opportunity a few weeks ago to talk to the high school that I went to, and talking to the students that walk the same hallways as me. It's inspiring for me too. I know the students said that they were excited to talk to me, but it's exciting to talk to them as well, because they're the next generation. We've been living up here on the space station for 25 years, and humanity is not going to stop. We're going to keep going forward, and it's exciting to see the people from our hometowns, people from New England, people all over the country and the world really that are excited about space and excited about all the opportunities up here.
And you talk a little bit about that the station has been, continuously habited by humans for about 25 years. And, that alone, not to mention all the other missions we take on, is certainly a significant expense to the country, right? And so one of the questions we have is, why is this expense and this effort that we put into human exploration, not just in microgravity, but beyond into deep space, why is that so important for humanity that we continue doing that?
To me, it's really threefold of why we explore it all, why we're going back to the moon, why we're here on the International Space Station. And the first one to me is just about the spirit of exploration. For me, as an astronaut, as a real explorer at heart, that alone is enough to justify the expenditure that we put into NASA, which, of course, is a significant budget, but is actually fairly small when we look at it in the scale of all government expenditures. But exploration, this desire to explore, if we didn't have this innate characteristic as humans, we would have never even discovered all of the continents on our own planet. So to me, that is just part of our ethos as humans, and satisfying that, I think, is what makes us human. The second area is science. Now, I'm also not just an explorer, I'm also a scientist, so that one is very, very important to me. Basic science that we do here on the International Space Station and in other areas in NASA is fundamental to the discoveries. It has vast applications, not only for the future of space exploration, but also for life back on our planet. So keeping that level of funding going to pursue those basic science objectives is huge. If we look at an example from the Apollo missions, we are still learning new things from the Apollo samples today, from those samples from decades and decades ago, and that's because we have new technologies now, so we can look at the same sample in a totally different way. We're still learning new things from those very samples. With the Artemis mission and our return to the moon, we'll be going to regions of the moon that we've never explored before. We have a whole new host of scientific questions in areas that are very, very interesting. For example, they have volatiles in the regolith. They have water and other gases, so we can use those things to fuel future exploration and also to understand more about the moon, about our own planet, and about the solar system. And lastly, we have these unanticipated benefits. Again, if I use Apollo as an example, when we were starting our efforts to go to the moon in the 60s, there was a huge outpouring of resources into all of science, technology, engineering, and math, things that we now know as STEM. And that has paid dividends for decades since in areas far outside of the space sector with all of these unanticipated spin-off type benefits. And I think that we can expect that from everything that we do here on the International Space Station and with the Artemis program as well. So to me, those three areas, exploration, science, and then all of the other unanticipated benefits make it well worth every dollar that we spend.
And, Jessica, I know you're quite the seasoned astronaut, but Jack, this is your first time up on the International Space Station. And so I want to ask you, what was that transition like for you, and what sort of surprised you the most about living on orbit?
Thanks for the question, Tyler. Yeah, I'm a rookie up here. It's been an incredible experience. Having Jessica as our commander and seasoned astronaut to mentor us has been great for the rookies on the crew. And that's true across the whole astronaut office. We have a great team of people out there, kind of bringing us rookies along. For me, sometimes it's a tough transition. The human body changes quite a bit when you get up here. We deal with motion sickness, and we deal with trying to figure out which way is up every day while we're up here. And that's one of the things that surprised me the most. We're here in this module, in the Japanese laboratory module, and we're kind of in the deck is below us, and the ceiling is above us, and we have walls. But as Jessica's clearly demonstrating, it's very easy to flip your body around. And one of the things my brain does is I change the wall for the ceiling because it reorients the whole room. And it almost feels like I'm in a new room as the walls become the ceilings and the ceilings become the floor. And my brain's trying to figure out, am I in a new room? Did I move somewhere? What's going on? And that was a pretty intense transition in the first week or so. And now I'm much more comfortable flipping upside down and around and getting into the right body position to work on any of the surfaces here inside the space station. So being a rookie up here is pretty awesome. It's been 2 months now. We feel like we're dropping the rookie aspect and trying to get some experience under our belts. But looking forward to the next couple of months and seeing what we can learn.
And you mentioned right now that you're in the Japanese module on the space station, and one of the things that is so fascinating about the International Space Station is just how international it is. It's a collaboration between so many different nations. And one of my questions is, we seem to live in a world where diplomacy and international cooperation has been weakening. And so what about that partnership on the space station makes it so strong and so fruitful in terms of the cooperation between countries that we have in space?
I think the International Space Station is a perfect example of what we can accomplish when we truly work together. None of us alone, NASA, Roscosmos, the Japanese, Canadian, or European space agencies could have accomplished this on their own, but it was something that we were able to accomplish when we brought all of our assets together. And so I think we can learn from that when we have these areas of strife and these areas of conflict on the ground, to think about that, really how we can rise above. I like to think that we provide a very positive example of what it takes and what we can do when we work together. And also, the International Space Station was very intelligently designed by those that came up with the idea. They actually made it quite a codependent relationship, with some of the assets coming from us, some of the assets coming from our other partners, so that it almost forces this kind of dependency on each other, which then allows all of us to keep working together, no matter what might be happening on the ground. So hopefully to us, it provides a ray of light and a ray of positive hope of what we can do if we decide to put our differences aside and to accomplish a shared goal.
And of course, the International Space Station you guys are constantly working on all different types of science and research. I'm curious if you could sort of give us a window into some of the research that you're doing up on orbit at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. The science that we do up here on orbit is pretty incredible and pretty interesting as well. And one of the neat things is, no matter what your background is, you get to come up here and work on science and these new technologies we're working on. For example, right now, we're growing cells in microgravity because there's special attributes when the cell growth isn't subject to the force of gravity, that it can grow maybe more like it would inside of a human. And we can create new types of, or new proteins or new types of scenarios where we can have the cell growth up here, then return it to the Earth, and scientists back home can use all the expensive and crazy equipment that they have down there to have a better understanding of how all that process works. Additionally, we have a cold atom lab up here where the experience of microgravity allows us to reduce the temperatures even closer to 0 degrees Kelvin in a way that we can't really do on the surface of Earth, to really get into general relativity and understanding how the universe is working. Just a couple days ago, one of our crewmates planted some alfalfa in a European module in one of their experimental racks to help our understanding of growing crops for the future, for future development as we go on to Moon and Mars beyond. So there's all sorts of different types of science experiments going on. We just had a cargo vessel show up last week, so we're in the midst of a whole bunch of science campaigns to get that science into work. And it's a pretty exciting part of everything, of the things we do every day up here.
And it's, you guys are constantly working on all sorts of science, but you're also living every day on the space station. Can you sort of walk us through a day in your life, if there even is such a thing as a typical day on the International Space Station? What does that entail for you?
One of the nice things about this job, both on Earth and on the ground, is that there isn't really a typical day. Every day is different. You're not just doing the same thing over and over, but we definitely have a routine up here. And our workday is actually about 12 hours long. We have a morning planning conference with the ground every morning at around 7:30, and then we set off to work. Each of us has a line in the schedule that we see on our laptops, and we go through the day to accomplish our different tasks, ranging from conducting some of the scientific experiments that Jack was talking about. Then you might have to do some maintenance procedure on the toilet, for example. We might have to do some upgrades on various other systems throughout the space station. Some days you are doing spacewalks outside the space station. We did one of those in March, and that actually takes quite a lot of prep, many days in advance, getting all the equipment ready and getting ready to go out the door. And of course, that's a very long day of work. We have a midday meal on an average day, about midday through the day, and then we get back to work again. And then we have an evening planning conference after all the activities are wrapped up at about 7:30 p.m. So like I mentioned, about 12 hours. So it's a pretty long work day compared to what most of us do down on Earth. But we're really doing different things all day long, ranging from all those different maintenance activities to science and, of course, to our exercise, which is part of every day. It's fundamental to our daily routine to make sure that we keep our bones and muscles healthy, since those would start deteriorating quite rapidly without the force of gravity like we have on Earth.
And I know we're running a little bit low on time here, but just one last question for you guys. Young people all over Connecticut, all over the world could be watching this interview. If there are young people out there that want to follow in your footsteps one day, want to go to space, if not deep space and beyond, what's the advice that you would have for them?
The advice we have for young people the world over is to follow your dreams and do the things that you love. Becoming a NASA astronaut, if that's your dream, is an awesome dream to have, and both Jessica and I have had it from a very young age. But you got to find the way that makes sense for you. Like I joined the Navy and became a pilot, and that was my route to NASA. Jessica became a scientist and got her PhD and did scientific research before she joined NASA as an astronaut. There's lots of ways to become a NASA astronaut, and we need all types of engineers, scientists, and pilots. And so find the thing that you're passionate about and find a way to explore that, find a way to go to school on that, to get smart on it, and become really good at it. Because when you're doing the thing that you love, everyone wants to be around you. Everyone's excited by it. Everyone's inspired. And once you're down that path, the opportunity to become an astronaut, every couple of years there's an application cycle that opens up. And if you're doing the thing that you love and you're really good at it, you're going to have a chance. So we encourage you guys to follow your dreams and apply when you have a chance.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I want to thank both of you guys for joining us today from the space station and taking some time out of your precious day to talk with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. We had a great time, Tyler. Thanks to everyone in Connecticut and New England, and everyone have a good rest of your day.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.